So guys, maybe you were lucky enough to pull Glacius this past weekend. Maybe you just want to know what he's all about. Maybe you're watching this months in the future. You just got him or you just got curious about him and you're coming to this video. This is going to be the official Glacius guide. What a fun new hero. They took Vortex, they threw him in the freezer. Boom, we got an incredible legendary, brilliant crowd control, brilliant single target damage, and you really will see that in this video. I'm going to run him in a nice set. We've got some Infernal Roar, but then just a basic Calamity set over here. Nothing crazy. No full skill ups. I was not able to max this. Was not able to hit this a single time, which is leaving 20% shield, aka 20% damage boost on the table during the ultimate. And you can see Awaken, he's level 0. It's a good build, but a very standard build, and he is going to perform brilliantly in Gear Raid 5, aka Gear Dungeon 2, Stage 10. The way I'm going to do this, you can see the stats right now. I'll show you. We're at 17.4 attack, 1.5 second interval, not too fast, 337 speed, crit capped at 284.5% crit damage, not even 300%, no rage regen. It is a simple build, guys. It really is. We've got some Infernal Roar Ancients, and I will say Infernal Roar is excellent on him because the ultimate just converts his basic attacks into a new souped up kind of basic attack, thus meaning Infernal Roar performs very well. It counts all this stuff during the ultimate as a basic attack, thus you get your bonus. But yeah, it's nothing so crazy. Now that you have the gist, let's head right into battle, and then I'll come out and I'll break down his full kit. I'll go through the entire build with the artifact, with the gear, why we're getting away with no skill ups. It's because he's that good.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
It really, really is. I'll also talk you through everywhere you could use him because he's an extremely strong hero. Let's head right in. We're going to do a Gear Raid 5, aka Gear Dungeon 2, Stage 10 showcase. I think I'm going to show the whole fight and walk you through it like a guide. All that really matters is Glacius. I'll put timestamps up right now if you want to see the 2 key times in the fight we use Glacius. Otherwise, you'll get to see this as a full Gear Raid 5 Stage 10 guide. And obviously in the flow of that, we'll see some brilliant Glacius dominance. Alrighty, let's head on in. Let's place Ardia. Other great substitutions here. Let me move myself out of the way. We're going to be Estrid and Volca. Those are my favorites to use. By far, to me, those are the top 3 heroes for this in the game. If you don't have something insane like Valderon or whatever, Ardia is a freak. We'll place her, Elwyn for Invig and for healing. This is going to be a typical strat, guys. Then in Edith. The point of this is not really how to beat Gear Raid 5-10, though I am going to show you that. It's really to show you that Glacius can fill in very, very nicely in actually both roles, both single target magic DPS roles, and completely change your account. He handles them really, really, really nicely. Slight caveat on this spot. We'll get to it in a second. So we wait. As soon as we get the Wood Elf, we're going to drop the Wood Elf. So 5 costs, we pick it up, we get 8 costs back. It's just a little cost generation. Now we'll place Valkyra. Cool thing about the Wood Elf, if you didn't know, the Wood Elf costs 5 to place, 8 to get back. Now, as soon as the clone dies, we trigger Elwyn and then Edith. Elwyn to make sure Ardia doesn't somehow kill herself and die, and then Edith to push the frickin' thing away. There comes the nice big blast, the bloodbath. That means we can place our tank. I'm using King Hearts and Hotsit. We wait. I'm going to focus in here, guys. I really want to one-take this thing. We wait. So we throw it on 1x. We wait for Valeria to hit once, and now I trigger her. We can also quickly place the Wood Elf and pick up the Wood Elf. Now we're good on cost. So I'm going to place, as soon as these archers pass, so once they pass through that tile, yes, when this guy's like over halfway through, we can place Hex. And you might be wondering, can you use Glacius there? Well, you might think no, because Glacius has that Comet range, the 3x3 square with the 1 extra tile on top. However, his range expands during his ultimate to a 3x4, which means he can perform in this spot. I will say, to perform in this spot, I think he definitely needs max skill ups on that passive I showed you where he gives himself the shields during the ultimate. More on that when I break down the kit. And then certainly you're going to want the minus 100 costs on the ultimate, because from here, his range will only expand when you click the ultimate. So he will not be building rage based on his basic attacks until the ultimate, because this enemy, because we're placing hearts here, will not be in the range. I hope that makes sense. It'll take him a really long time to get the ult up. I did test it without the ultimate and the minus 100 skill cost, getting that ultimate to level 5. For me, it wasn't working, but without a doubt, it can work with a max out ultimate, and the damage easily can work, especially if you have him awaken level 1. So let's continue now. We wait, we wait. A lot of places. This is the hard part about Gear Raid 5, right? Our attention is in many, many places. So now that Hex is ready, we can trigger him. Let's trigger Elwyn, because why not? Valeria is about to die, so get ready. We're going to trigger Hot Sit as soon as those guys come out. Valeria does die, right? Yep. Now we're going to place Baron before those guys can walk through. Let's trigger Hearts' shield. Now we're waiting for the Wood Elf. Where are you, honey? Come on, Wood Elf. Wood Elf's taking forever. It's okay. And now we can already place Glacius right here. So Glacius is going to be able to handle this row. And even in the build you saw, I had nothing too crazy, not even 300% crit damage, like 334 attack speed, totally normal build, no max skills, except for the basic, I think. And no awakenings. He's going to handle this brilliantly, really good single target magic damage. Keeping an eye on Hex now. Here comes the Wood Elf. We can place it now. Heal up Hex and Hearts. Hex is going to get the kill. So Hex is still going to be better at this, at least with the Glacius I have. But without a doubt, Glacius will get this 3x4 range. You can see that Hex has once you ult with him. So if you have that ult maxed out, and certainly the passives to give himself bigger shields, you can cook with him. And if you have that A1 or even higher awakenings, you're off to the races. Absolutely. So we wait. Time to show off Glacius. There goes Hot Sit. We're good to go. We cleared that out. Throw this on 2x for 1 second. Now what I like to do here, because you want to maybe get an early chance to land a freeze on the clone. Obviously you can't freeze the clone, but he has something called Eye of Frost, or Eye of Winter, excuse me. I'll break that down when we do the kit. And he might start registering the clone as frozen, which will give us a big damage boost. So I like to let Glacius get 2 hits off before I trigger the ultimate. So you'll see that right now. We wait. There's 1 hit. Oh, he's looking the wrong way. There's 1. There's 2. Now we'll trigger Baron, trigger Glacius. And you're going to see, during his ultimate, let's click off of Edith. During his ultimate, now his basic attacks become triple hitters, some nice damage. And he puts a shield on himself, and that's from the passive. And he's going to get extra damage based on that shield. So you can see the shield's coming out to like probably about 40% of his max HP. It's like a 40% damage boost. And he's going to triple hitter start melting this clone away. Keep an eye on top. Don't get too distracted, right? And look at that. He's got halfway done already, easily, with well over half on his ultimate remaining. We're going to have plenty of time. Let's place this Wood Elf for Hearts down here. As soon as we're ready, we're going to place Hot Sit. But look at Glacius go, just melting everything in that bottom left corner, making it look really easy, if I'm being honest. And keep in mind, this is no max skilled, and this is A0. And this is not something many heroes in the game can do. Like, full stop. It is not an easy thing for many heroes in this game. Excellent stuff. Let's place Valeria. So we'll leave Glacius down just for a moment, so him and Valeria can start whacking away at these 2 extra mobs a little bit. Don't want to let him down too much. This is probably enough already, because we do want him ready to come back around for the next time we get the clone. If you don't know exactly what's going on, guys, if you're totally new to Gear Raid 5, you don't know why I'm featuring him here, you can see we have 2 color clones, right? So there's the purple clone. These require physical damage, physical DPS, so normal damage or piercing damage. When we get the red clones, those require magic damage. And that's why we're cycling, we get the red clones sometimes in the middle here and sometimes on the left here. We're using Hex for the ones in the middle, and then we're using Glacius for the ones on the left. So that's a very key thing that I need to explain. And we'll always target in on the highest HP guys. So it's essential that we have someone really nice with a lot of magic DPS to take down those red clones. Similarly, the reason we're using Valeria here, she's going to do amazing normal damage, physical damage to take out the purple clone. So here's Hot Sit again. We can wipe that all away. Excellent. Hot Sit is broken for this fight. Valeria's chipping away again. Throw this thing on 2x for a moment. See, I haven't even mentioned Artie and Edith. They just handle the whole bottom so easy. So Valeria just took out that last one. That's part of the reason I left Glacius down for a few extra seconds to help her chip away at those, so she's entirely ready for the boss right now. Boss is in her range. Let's trigger. As soon as these guys pass through that square, we can place Hex. Let's get these shields for Hearts. Let's get we'll wait on the Wood Elf until we really need it. We're looking good, though. Almost ready for Glacius round 2. You can see he's got 16.9 seconds left. Let's trigger Hex, and let's trigger Hot Sit. Now we're going to trigger the Wood Elf, drop the Wood Elf, to help out Hearts and Hex as the Bloodbath comes. Excellent. Down goes Valeria, but you can see she already took care of the clone. Very nice. Glacius is almost ready to come back now. Hex is doing the Lord's work up on top. You can place Glacius already. you want to be really conservative, you can wait until like you've started pushing this Banshee away a little bit, but he's gonna actually, because he's putting shields on himself, because he's got decent HP as a Northerner, he's not gonna succumb, at least from what I found, to the radiating damage after you kill the Banshee as quickly as someone like Nocturne, who I typically used to use. But now I think I'll use Glacius. He's easier to use. So we wait, trigger Elwyn. Let's wait for Hex to get that kill right about now. We'll trigger Hearts. Hex gets the kill, pick him up. Now we'll trigger Hotsoot. She kills all those guys. As soon as this guy dies, we can pick up Hotsoot as well. Keeping an eye here, right, on the Banshee for when it dies. Hotsoot's done. Getting ready with Edith. It's dead. Push it away with Edith. Come on, Edith. Go. So you can see now it's out of range. Glacius held on great. He already had a shield from King Hearts. And basically, as soon as this seats the red clone now, this requires magic damage. As soon as it's going to get in Glacius's range, we're going to trigger Glacius. Let's get the Wood Elf down to help Hearts. Glacius time. And you're going to see, he just melts this thing away. He makes it look really easy. Him and Nocturne does an amazing job too, but here now what's really exciting is we just have another option, right? Waiting, and look at Glacius. Just taking care of business, no rush here. Let's trigger Hearts' ult. Let's get Valeria down, just so we have another person to stall there. Glacius gets the kill. Excellent. Let's trigger Baron. As soon as we can, we'll trigger Valeria. We probably aren't going to get the kill there, but it doesn't matter if this explodes. Glacius does die there, but again, he had killed the clone many seconds ago, so there's really no harm, no foul. Let's see, it's making it look really easy. Ardia down there. Let's trigger with Edith. Come on, Edith. Down goes Hearts, but that's why we have Valeria to stall. Now this guy's going to explode before any time's up anyway, so we're off to the races. We can place Hex here to help out with that. Let's trigger Baron. Here's Hotsoot will help out with this last one if it even matters. Didn't matter. So Valeria even gets the kill, and there's the explosion as well. We'll trigger Hex, and that is the fight, guys. So 2 key moments that Glacius really came to the rescue and was amazing. And you can see both times he beat it with time to spare, and that was even with the build I had that we were using in this fight. You know, that's with my not max skilled, not crazy gear, A0 Glacius. And this is like some of the hardest content in the game, right? And Glacius can really shine in a ton of content for single target magic DPS, as well as infinite crowd control. So let's get into that kit right now. I truly love this hero. If you guys don't know, I pulled 7 legendaries on this weekend's banner before I got him, and I kept going until I got him. And even once I got him, maybe we'll keep that for an HP DPS if it rolls really well. Once I did get him, I still was like, should I keep going to try to get that A1? So let's actually go right back in. Let's go to Glacius and let's talk about his kit. So you can see he's got basically a very key talent here. Basic attacks inflict slow upon hit with a 20% chance additionally to inflict freeze. So every single basic attack guaranteed will be a slow. And it's a pretty nice slow, 50%. And then every one of those, there's a 1 in 5 chance that it will inflict freeze. Remember, I talked about his ultimate. This turns his basic attacks into triple hitters, so it's really likely that you can hit it. It's going to be 0.8 cubed. I'll have done the math right now, but that should come out to, you know, it's going to be, I think, over a 50% chance or just around a 50-50 that on each triple hitter, he will land a freeze. And the freeze does last 2 seconds, so you can be cycling through it very, very nicely. Additionally, he's going to deal 20% increased damage to those 2 crowd control effects, slowed or freeze. Really nice. You can do 20% to slowed, 20% to frozen. Let's go to his kit now. Very simple, basic, but remember, we spruce it up with the ultimate. But at its core, it's going to be 120% magic damage to one enemy. That is at max skill ups. Of course, this is the only place that I maxed out with my skills. And you can see it's 120% magic damage, but that comes with everything good in the talent. Each one of those basic attacks will land at least a slow, at least a 50% slow, and 1 in 5 times it will land a freeze. Remember, we get triple hitters on the ultimate. So let's see the ultimate now. When activated, Arctic Fury, it's 1,000 costs where I have it, but at max skill ups, it's going to go down to 900. Also, it lasts 20 seconds where I have it, which is maxed on duration at level 4. I will say, can this work not at level 4 with only 15 seconds? Yes, but certainly it would take a better build or more awakening. seconds. But at A0 with this build, you're going to need the 20 seconds because it's 33% longer, right? So it's 5 seconds more duration is significant. So when you activate this, it turns his range from this typical thing over here. You can see what I call comet range, the 3x3 with the one on top. It fills it out into a 3x4 rectangle. They demonstrate that for you right here. And now his basic attacks are turned into triple hitters with each strike dealing 110% damage. And that is going to be when you get it up to level 3 or higher. To random enemies in range, the key thing though is if there's no one in range. So in this content, there were the 2 other people, but he still put out DPS so effectively it didn't matter. But for like typical boss content, like Guild Boss 1, Guild Boss 2, stuff like the new Soleil boss and the epilogue, there's only one person in range the whole time. It's guaranteed because it's just the one boss. So then these are always crazy triple hitters. For every 1% max HP of shield strength owned, increases damage by 1% up to 100%. So make it really simple. If he has 20,000 HP, up to 20,000 HP shield on top of that will turn into a 100% damage increase. So if you had a 10,000 HP shield, you'll have a 50% increase, so on and so on with any other increment. It's going to maintain that ratio up to 100%. So if you had a 20,000 HP build on him and you had a 22,000 HP shield, it can't go any higher than the 100%. But that being said, basically it can be 2x damage, very significant. Like I said, it's a really, really good ultimate. Now here's the key thing in this kit that I totally whiffed on. Level 1, Frozen Shield. This is incredible. So he has a temporary, what's the word? Like clockwork, essentially. He has a cycling shield that can come. It's going to be 20% of max HP every 30 seconds. This can go down to 26 seconds, and it can go up to 30% max HP. And it is reduced whenever he takes damage by 1 second up to a 12-second reduction. So if he takes 12 instances of damage and you have it max skilled, it goes down from 26 seconds to only 14 seconds. So it's on a cycle like clockwork again, where it is triggering every 14 seconds. And it does last 10 seconds. So that's going to be what? 5/7 uptime. That's quite strong. When the ultimate is activated, this effect will trigger automatically, and he gets a bigger shield that he instantly gives to himself. So the base, which is where I'm stuck, because I have it at level 1, is going to be 40% of his max HP. However, with skill ups, if you can get this to level 5, it's 60%. So this means whenever he ults, he is going to get, for 10 seconds, that's going to be half of the ult, he's going to get a 60% HP shield. And remember, that equates to a 60% damage boost, because it's 60% of his max HP. Very strong stuff. I would have loved to have it, and it would have made this a lot easier, an extra 10 or 20% if I had it level 3 or level 5 respectively. Finally, his second passive, very cool thing, very unique thing here. First things first, this didn't affect this fight, but as we get more content where we could get frozen, this could be key. He possesses freeze immunity, so Glacius himself cannot be frozen. Also, he deals, and I've got it at 70%, but it can go up to 80% with max skill ups, 80% extra damage to enemies inflicted with freeze. But you might be wondering, the clones in that fight couldn't be frozen. You know, the bosses, I mentioned Soleil, Guild Boss 1, Guild Boss 2, they can't be frozen. So do you not get this benefit? No. If the target is immune to freeze, triggered by the talent, so when he goes to do the freeze himself, if they're immune to that freeze, instead he's going to say, to me, you look frozen. It's a debuff called Eye of Winter. It's going to last for 4 seconds where I have it, but it goes all the way up to 5 seconds at max skill up. For those 5 seconds, so you can keep re-triggering this over and over, he's going to say, you look frozen to me, so I'm going to give myself that big damage boost. And remember, that goes up to 80%. So you can see constant crowd control built in, constant things like Eye of Winter, like the damage boosts here, like the amazing triple hitter, crazy stuff, damage boost based on shield in the ultimate. A lot of things that stack as well with huge, huge damage increases. He synergizes very nicely in his faction. He is a Northern Mage, and the Northerner Lords all give shields to different degrees. Fantastic stuff. And even with this skill up amount and a 0, he totally shined. Can he get better with Awakenings? Absolutely. His A1 is fantastic when there's only one target in range. So it wouldn't have helped in this fight specifically, right? So I may have misspoke earlier. But for like Guild Boss 1, Guild Boss 2, Soleil, so on, when you're just squaring up one boss, or it's a piece of content where just for that moment, there's only one enemy target in range, straight up, all damage, another damage increase, up 15%. And if they are frozen, another 15%. And this also counts for his Eye of Winter passive. So whether they're frozen or he decides that to him they look frozen, that's another 15%. So 2 new 15% damage boosts. You can see there's so many damage increases that are stacking throughout his kit. Now the A2, very typical, plus 300 attack. We didn't go into base stats. I guess I can do that very quickly now. He's got a pretty typical 4683, very similar like Comet. If I can find my Comet hiding out somewhere, there he is. I think I took all the gear off of him. He is going to come in at 4864, but I do believe that is with Awaken level 2 over here, plus 5%. So his base actually is very similar. It's also in the 46s. I think I just favorited him. I don't want him favorited. I only do that for my guild boss heroes and stuff like that. Let's head back to Glacius now. So that's his A2 plus 300, really nice. So it's going to bring him up towards 5,000, over 4,900. The other actually base stat I did want to discuss with you guys is his attack interval. So here you can see I got it down to 1.5, but his base attack interval is 2.6, which is very standard for these single target bursty mages, just like Comet, just like a lot of heroes in this game. Let's go to the A3 now. This is a good one. Increases shield strength gained by 20%. So whenever he gives himself a shield, whenever he gets a shield from like King Hearts or Solda or even Dagna or a Vortex or a Gwendolyn, so on, it's increased by 20%. So for example, if you had that passive maxed out, the Frozen Shield, instead of giving himself 60%, he's going to give himself 72%, right? An additional 12%, 1/5 of the 60%. So 60 plus 12, 72% shield. So that's 72% damage increase. When he's shielded as well, another 15% damage increase. So it goes up from the 60 to the 72% shield, so 72% damage boost, and then a separate increase whenever he's shielded of another flat 15%. The A4 plus 8% crit rate is nice. Then a very unique A5. When he's receiving fatal damage for the first time, he triggers an ice barrier for 10 seconds where he cannot act or take damage. When it expires, the hero restores 30% of his HP, so he's at 3/10 health. He has 100% rage, ready to ult right away, and a 50% shield. Really, really good stuff. He is fantastic Awakens. I believe he's a common bucket legendary, so he's not as rare as someone like Valeria, certainly not Hotsit, who's ultra rare, not as rare as Boreas or Silas. You know, I think he's the same rarity from what I can tell. We don't have the internal numbers right now, as someone like Nocturne or Edith or Cratch, all that stuff. So that's pretty exciting since he's obviously a really, really good hero. Let's talk about the build I put on him now. Like I said, that ultimate just soups up his basic attacks into those triple hitters. Technically random, but if there's one target in range, they're guaranteed single target triple hitters. I went pretty high on the attack. There's pretty high defenses in the stage. So we went attack bonus, and then crit damage with a nice attack bonus roll. We look over here, we went an attack-based set, plus 25% attack. This is from the Calamity set, attack bonus, crit rate. And then I went for some tankiness, HP bonus, defense bonus. This is so he doesn't get wiped out. Eventually he did, as you saw, but he doesn't get wiped out too quickly by the AoE bloodbaths, which are getting stronger throughout the battle in Gear Raid 5, aka Gear Dungeon 2, because they improve every time someone's retreated from battle or dies on our team, one of our allies. And then his weapon, flat HP, some attack speed, a little bit of attack bonus, crit rate. You can see the gear is not crazy. It really isn't. We do have 3 ancients over here. This one's crazy with a bunch of purples, but this one's kind of normal. And this one, it's good, but it's just nothing's crazy. And if you think it is, well, hey, this is Gear Raid 5-10. I don't know what to tell you. You can get away with way worse at the lower stages. Absolutely. And it'd be even easier at the lower stages to run him in the spot I was running Hex. But yeah, if we look at those total stats, I showed them at the beginning just to show you again now. 17.4, almost 17,500 attack. The HP, I got it just over 25k. So ideally, you'd want to get that a little higher for this fight, but we pulled it off. King Hearts definitely helped there. We got a 1.5 second interval, not that fast at all. 337 attack speed, capped, and then not even 300% crit damage, only 284.5. For the artifact, very easy. We ran a maxed out tier of Twilight. For other battles, if you don't have like a max tier of Twilight, I would say definitely run him in a White Tower Trinket. This is kind of the legendary version. Very strong legendary artifact. You can get a little attack speed as well if there's no one adjacent. This fight, there were people adjacent, but you can imagine content where it would work. And then certainly if you just want to spam the ult as much as possible, another legendary artifact, the Nightmare Samsara, is fantastic on him. If we want to talk about other gear sets, Soulbound Arcana is going to be fantastic, just like it is on every DPS in all content. Ageless Wrath, of course, could work, but certainly Soulbound Arcana Infernal Roar would be the best. I would also say if you want to go non-premium sets, non-tier 2 and tier 3 sets, without a doubt, if you wanted to run like a Wisdom set, his best moment is going to be when he ults, when he puts that shield on himself, when he switches to the triple hitters. Wisdom set is a really good option. You can farm that in Gear Raid 3. So here you go. That is Glacius. I freaking love this hero. You can see he really shined in this supremely difficult content in what is not even an endgame build. I'm sorry, this is not an endgame build. Pretty normal, 72.151 BP. Compare that to whatever I was running on my Hex, 90.6 with the promo 1 signature, max skills, A1, you know. Glacius was kind of right there. Hex is better, but I mean, Hex is the king of this. Glacius is kind of right on his tail. And if I was to put Glacius in gear that is this high level, if he did have like his own special exclusive artifact or something, if he did have max skills, you can see, if he was A1, you could see how he really is that good. And do not sleep on the fact that he's kind of like a Mari in the sense, like the way Mari works, where every single one of his basic attacks is applying some amount of crowd control. So this is going to be really, really good just in general for controlling units around you, for synergizing with his kit. And then also, if you're going to run some cultists, like if you're running Morrigan as a Lord, for enabling this Lord skill. Increases team members AoE, the second line. Increases faction members' damage dealt to crowd-controlled units. Slow, stun, freeze, immobilize. He's doing 2 of those, the slow and the freeze. Now, very quickly, guys, where will Glacius shine the most? Well, obviously, I think Gear Raid 5. He's going to be very good in Void Rift, also very good in the Void Rift Epilogue, anywhere you need a lot of single-target damage, or also just Void Rift in general, because there's usually not that many enemies, so he can get a ton of slows and freezes out, and you can really lean into the crowd control aspects of his kit. Gear Raid 1 is an obvious choice for him, but I do think in the later stages he'll fall off since he's doing primarily single target damage and also single target hits, so he won't get that many freezes, that many slows out. That being said, towards the end of Gear Raid 1, even at stage 20, stage 21, he can really help you nuke down the boss quickly if you need that, and Northerners is a fairly meta comp to run alongside your Cultist or your Esotericist if you're not running those two together. Those really are the key places to use him outside of the guild bosses. He's fantastic in Guild Boss 1. He is who can make Northerners meta. They're not meta yet, but he's definitely the best DPS for that in the entire faction, full stop. You can even run him off faction as long as he's self-shielding a decent amount. He should work really nicely. In Guild Boss 2, he's also a really legitimate option. He is going to help with Phase 1 with some solid crowd control when he does trigger those freezes. He obviously will be hitting at the same target over and over, and there'll only be one target in range, so it will help him a ton to deal a lot of damage, especially if you have him awakened level 1 or higher. All in all, great boss killer, great crowd control. Love this hero. Fantastic stuff. We love Glacius here on my channel. If you love my channel or even like it or you're even considering it, definitely give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let me know in the comments what you think. Did you pull Glacius? Are you jealous that you didn't? Are you stoked? Are you going to take him out now and build him? Let me know all of that good stuff. Share with your mother. I've been Fastidious, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.